half the population. We earn, we save, and we endure. But the question is, do we invest? Money is a conversation that women have traditionally distanced from. They plan the monthly budgets, but seldom take an active part in the investment discussions. Money Matters for Her is an initiative by Mutual Fund Sahi Hai to begin a conversation with women around money and their investment needs. We are committed to inspire women to invest. We invite coveted women leaders from the finance industry to talk about their journeys and also answer some of the most common concerns when it comes to investing. Because we believe when women talk, women listen. In our journey of these sessions, we have invited women pioneers who dared to break glass ceilings. Continuing with the trend, we have with us a Harvard graduate who believes that women must work for their careers and not just a job. She's a visionary and a work enthusiast, but she understands and she respects the work-life balance. Please welcome Aditi Kothari Desai. She is Vice Chairperson at DSP Investment Managers Private Limited. Aditi, welcome to Money Matters for Her.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure that you could join us here. So, Aditi, my first question is, I'm sitting here with you and thinking that you come from a family of luminous names who have marked their place in history. Can you take us through your journey of being initiated in the world of finance? Did it happen naturally, or did you consciously, do this to take your family's legacy ahead?
Xenia, honestly, it was because my family has been in the business. I'm sixth generation in this business now. I saw my father had actually started investment banking in India. He was one of the pioneers. And I saw him do this, ever since I was a child. And I didn't really understand what that meant. When you go to school, someone's father's a lawyer, doctor, engineer. But when I told people my father's a merchant banker, they didn't really understand that. I think I was a little bit mocked also. And I was determined to understand what he did. I think I was always interested in business. My business happened to be in the business of finance. That is how my journey started.
Brilliant. So, Aditi has a Bachelor of Science degree in economics from the University of Pennsylvania, USA. And she is an MBA from the Harvard Business School. She has worked at Merrill Lynch in New York and later joined the mutual fund business. So, Aditi, I'm thinking you have studied at some of the most coveted institutions and you've learned the nitty-gritties of business from the absolute best. Tell us, how did it help you build one of the leading mutual fund investment companies in the country?
So to be, very honest, I'm very proud of the institutions I went to. But I never wanted to just rest on the laurels of, what my education was. I actually wanted to go out and do something about it. I wanted to make a difference in the world, however cheesy that sounds. And that was the motto of one of my, alma maters. But that is really something that inspired me. And I didn't want to occupy a seat somewhere and then not do something. So back to Wharton, which was my undergraduate institution, really helped me to understand the nuts and bolts of finance. So it's very finance focused. It's probably one of the best institutions for finance in the world. And I'm happy I studied there. So you learn the basics. Harvard was more about leadership, overall making you a good leader, really inspiring you to make the difference in the world, and a lot of reading in both institutions, especially Harvard, because it was just case studies. Yeah. So I learned a lot from what others are doing and from the leading companies of the world. We studied a lot of entrepreneurs also, what the do's, the don'ts, and how it happened. And it's a process. It's like an osmosis process. Right. And you also get inspired by the people you're around, because everyone is so motivated that you yourself are motivated at the end of the day. And so it was a fantastic experience. I brought it, of course, with all the enthusiasm to India. You can't though do a cut paste of what you learn in America into India. That part I learned very clearly. Cultures are very different. You have to immerse yourself in the culture here, take what's best from there and be able to apply it in the right way here. So I'm very proud of what we have built, and it's not been me. I have a fantastic CEO that has really supported me and has been great for the institution. We've had CEOs before him that were really fantastic to get it to this point. And the great thing is they always were very open and supportive of women.
That's fantastic.
And I think that's the reason I am where I am. So it's really my team that has really helped me and the team that has helped DSP get where it is.
That's brilliant. So, Aditi, I have listened to a lot of your interviews, and clearly, when I listen to you, I understand that motivating and inspiring women to invest in the formal economy has been a cause that has been very close to your heart. Can you tell us that what made you so empathetic towards it, and how do you think women investors can make an impact to the formal economy?
So, I'll tell you, back in 2011-12, I had a lot of my friends that were single and working, and they kept calling me saying, now what do we do with our money? Now what do we do? The bank is calling me saying this, Aditi, should I do this? Should I not do this? And it was one of my really close friends. She's in the art world. So I was like, I was giving her tips here and then. I said, you need to get yourself a proper financial advisor. So I started talking to women financial advisors saying, why don't you talk to other women, and I will give you references of my friends. So I started talking to a lot of the women financial advisors, and we realized that these women needed a lot of help. I also realized there were a lot of my friends were going through divorces, sadly, and that was an increasing trend. They also needed a lot of help with the alimony that they got and the support. So again, that was a very almost a woman-centric need. And so I started referring them, talking to them. And the other thing I realized is when journalists used to talk to me, they only talked to me about, you're a working woman, can you tell us more? And I said, let's take the conversation away from that because it seems so banal. Can we talk about women and investing and why they don't invest and what we need to do to encourage them? And I was very clear, I wanted to start a movement where not just me, but everyone starts talking about women and investing and why it's happening and why it's not. We started doing surveys and asking women why they don't invest. We realized a lot of it has to do with confidence, lack of interest, being, feeling that they don't, know anything about numbers. And so we started doing a lot to then helping bridge the gap by having a lot of, we started a learn site. And I think a lot of the other mutual funds now have learn sites. You can say you're a beginner, an intermediate, or you can say you're an advanced investor.
Right.
Women are not only beginners. You can have men that are beginners.
Yes.
Women are not, so we don't need special learning sites for women. But we need to talk to women in a different way. We need to encourage women in a different way.
That's beautiful. And, while I was listening to you, I was thinking of how you've been so sensitive towards your immediate life and how that has helped you build build an institution here and a movement, like you rightly said, that is making such a great impact to not just women, but to human beings around the world and, educating them as investors. Tell me, Aditi, do you think that the mutual fund industry specifically has taken any special initiative to include women in the conversation? Can you cite some more examples of it?
So yes, I believe, mostly people do things around Women's Day, which is good enough because, the conversation has started. I mean, amazing that Amphi is doing with Mutual Fund Sahi Hai and we're focusing on women.
Yes.
As I talked earlier, and as I mentioned earlier rather, that mutual funds all on their sites have learning sites. This is sort of gender agnostic, and I would encourage all women to go to these sites. Just say you're a beginner if you don't know anything. but you will be able to educate yourself. So, a lot of emphasis from SEBI and then AMFI on investor education, which then incorporates women. And I'm really happy to say that. There's some tools out there also. There's one called the alimony calculator. It's specially for women. So if you are going through a divorce, a friend going through a divorce, you can just put all your parameters in there. It's very fair actually, because it also asks what your income is, what's in your bank account, and what parental support you may get. And then it tells you to maintain your lifestyle today, how much money you will need in the bank. So it's actually really good, because women are clueless. At the same time, it says this is the rate that you will need in order to live up to 85 with this amount in your bank and this income that you are getting otherwise. So it makes women conscious that you need to go and invest your money. At this point, you also need a financial advisor to make sure you can get that rate or more.
Yes.
So it talks to women as to why investment is, why it's important and why they need to learn about it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for telling us all of this. And I know there's this and there's so much more that can help us, with this conversation. Now, Aditi, you'll agree with me when I say that so much of content is being created to encourage women to invest or just to start a conversation around it. But can you tell me, what according to you do you think is the psychology of money? And how can we teach women to confidently invest, or rather have more of these conversations?
I think it has to do with mindsets. I think it has to do with every person in the mutual fund industry and the mutual fund distributor industry needs to go out there and speak. We need media to do a lot more and concentrate a lot more on this topic, because it has to just become, I would say, more of a movement. We've just started, and I've been at this for over 10 years, and I feel it's just started and picked up. Also, where women are concerned, women need to talk to other women. It starts with being a mother. If you are a mother, from the time your child understands, you tell them about being financially independent, which means go get your job, don't be dependent on anyone, make your own money, but don't end there. Don't give the reins of your money to someone else.
Right.
Okay, once you do that, you lose your financial independence. Learn investing. Talk about investing not just when you talk to your son, but when you talk to your daughter. Fathers, you too. You need to talk to your girls about investing from when they're children, and not just have the conversation with your son or ignore it completely. Okay, when she grows up, she'll get a job. Why should they give the check back to the father to invest, which then goes straight to the husband. But the father should say, no, I'm not taking this. You learn what you have to do. Right. And these are the tools. Go on to these sites, learn investing yourself. And by the way, remember everything I taught you. And and if she sees her mother learning about it, then it's just natural for her as well.
See, that's where it begins. Absolutely. Now, talking about women and investing, Aditi, there seems to be a sense of cheer in the market that in the last couple of years, the number of women investors has increased manyfold. What's your take on it?
Well, I hope that has happened. No one has real numbers, and I'll tell you that very clearly, because we tried that and we got excited. We have over 1/3 of our investors are women. We got very happy. Maybe everything we're doing and everything we're saying is, actually translating. But when we said, let's do a survey and call some of these women, and when I did that, a man picks up the phone. So he has given his number. It may be his daughter, his mother, his sister, his wife, but he has given his number. Or sometimes the woman does pick up the phone and she says, let me give it right now to my husband. So are women investors really increasing, or just accounts in women's names increasing? Will we ever know? Maybe through surveys and anecdotes. Data, it'll be very tough.
Thank you. Thank you for shedding light on that. I think that's also a wake-up call. Having said that, Aditi, would you like to share with us a few experiences that you've had in the journey of making women financially independent?
Yes, I've actually been doing this for over 11 years, I would say. In 2011 is when I started. And it started because I said, I have a friend in the art world and she needed help and she was single. I had friends whose parents had passed away, they needed help. I had friends, unfortunately, who were going through divorces. They needed help. So I feel that all their lives, 11 years hence, their portfolios have been just transformed. And I would say it's almost 10 times more than what they started. Of course, they're also earning and they've made it a habit. They've made investing a habit. In addition, I got married I would say about 7 to 8 years ago. And both my mother-in-law and sister-in-law are working and were working. And I helped them to think about being financially independent and why they need to make their own investment decisions and why they need their own financial advisors and get more serious about this. So I feel like I almost saw all of this in front of me. In addition, I would say my sister's friends, other close friends of mine, most of them are now investing, which they never would have thought of doing earlier. On top of that, I do hope sessions such as these are inspiring people to do this, people who I have never even met.
Yes, they are. I must tell you that because I watch your interviews and I watch, I've seen the amount of heart you put into educating women about investing. So thank you for doing that.
Thanks.
Aditi, you command respect and you have the aura of a leader. So as a woman, I want to ask you, what are the challenges that you faced in commanding the boardroom?
Well, the good thing is I have a very good board, very mature, very open to women, but I'm the only woman on my board. Hope we will be able to get more. I'll tell you, in any boardroom, I feel women feel conscious that they need to, be more feminine, be sweet when they speak, not get too assertive.
Yeah.
It's okay for the men to be more assertive. And I think women are very conscious of that, but they can't let loose, and I feel men let loose. Because if you let loose and you get very assertive and you're very strong, then you can be, looked at maybe negatively. So the men need to give them the confidence to speak as freely as the men do without judging them in any way.
Fantastic. And that's what you have, and here you are, and that's exactly what we need to replicate, starting from our home. It was fantastic talking to you, but before I let you go, I have a quick rapid fire for you. Are you ready? It's going to be quick, swift. Sure. Yes?
One condition.
Okay, what is that?
That I can ask you one question at the end of that.
I think that's reasonable. Okay, great. So let's do the rapid fire. Your favorite poem?
If by Rudyard Kipling.
Okay. Can you tell us one or two quotes that you've pinned, at your office walls?
If there's a will, there's a way.
Why not? Okay. What is your idea of financial independence?
Investing my own money.
What's your favorite mutual fund feature and why?
STP, which is the systematic transfer plan, which means like when you get your salary and bonus, you don't have to invest it immediately. You can invest it without any emotion over time. So there's just a disciplined way to put your money at the certain time every month, and it just goes automatically, whether the market is up or down. I don't have to make decisions.
Superb. That sounds amazing. What's your advice to women who want to invest but hesitate?
Just do it.
Just do it. 3 words. Okay, Aditi, your question for me.
So, Xenia, do you make your own money and do you feel financially independent?
I do make my own money and I feel financially independent, but let me be very honest with you. It took me a while to understand what that really meant.
Okay, so now I'll ask you, do you make your own investment decisions?
Not entirely.
Okay, and now do you feel completely financially independent even though you don't make your own investment decisions?
I see what you're getting at, and honestly, I think I will feel completely financially independent the day I can make decisions. And I think the gap between where I am right now and getting there is not just educating myself, but also being more confident. And I think being ready to take risks which come with investment, if any.
Who then makes your investment decision?
So my investment decisions are made collectively by my husband and me, with a lot of advice that is taken from our family and our friends who we think are financially wiser.
Okay, so if I can tell you one thing here, it's great that you are educating yourself in this to get to a point where you can make your own investment decisions. I am saying that it's good to include your spouse, yes, for either his or yours, because it actually helps the bonding. It helps in conversation also.
It does.
But being responsible for the end is very important. Second of all, I would say talking to friends to make investment decisions is something I would not encourage. Of course, you must talk to them, but their risk profile and what they think is the right investment instrument may not be right for you, given your situation and your risk tolerance. So it's very important to get an overall risk assessment done through a financial advisor, and then maybe make your own investment decisions based on the asset allocation they give you. Sorry, this is unsolicited advice.
No, it's
but
perfectly
I
fine.
think there are a lot of women like you making their own money, and we would love to help them in every way. And I'm happy that Mutual Fund Sahi Hai is doing just that.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for that piece of advice. I'm going to take it very seriously, straightforward. And I think I'm going to implement it more than anything else. So Aditi, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time out, for joining us here. Speaking with you has been very, very enlightening. I love how, through this conversation, I understand how you balance being compassionate, sensitive, and empathetic with being, tough when it comes to making your own decisions. And that's exactly what we needed to hear. You also address so many concerns that we as women face every single day in making our decisions. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for your support. And we hope that we have inspired you to invest, because we understand how money matters for you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.